Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Here we go! Oh! Oh no! Oh my god! No way! Oh! It's Saber Oh, look at these fights! Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to Let's Talk About It, the series we talk about everything going on in the movie, TV, and video game world. I'm your host, and I go and research and find these stories for you guys because I hope they interest you, but they honestly really interest me, and I just want to talk about them with you. And if you guys have any other stories or any things you ever want me to talk about on the show, please put it down in the comments. Or you can use my email. My channel email is up at the top right here, so you can email me those questions if you ever want me to talk about any topics proceeding in the movie, TV, and video game world. And with all that out of the way, just want to say, thank you guys for watching the series. The series is doing pretty well. You guys are watching it, so I'm hoping you're enjoying it. Also remember, just to press that little button right here, the subscribe button. Press that subscribe button. Just by pressing that button, guys, you help us out so much. All you gotta do is click that button, and you're helping us out. And you'll get notifications when other videos like this drop on the channel. With that out of the way, let's move on to our first topic today here, ladies and gentlemen. And that is this. We got a new Star Wars show coming. Skelton Crew. Yes, Skelton Crew, which is a show I'm getting more excited about the more I hear about it. I think it has potential to kind of shift the narrative of Star Wars shows. And now they've just announced the list of directors for the show. And it's a pretty great few of directors they got for the show. According to thecomicmovie.com, they say Skelton Crew's immersive director lineup revealed along with spoiler relating to Jude Law's character. Now, we're not going to talk about the spoiler in Jude Law's character. We're not going to talk about that. We're just going to be talking about the directors. And this is a list of directors they have. We knew that we have Academy Award-winning directors of Everywhere, Everything, All at Once director Daniels Kwan and Daniels Schneert, I think that's how I say the name, a.k.a. The Daniels. The Oscar-winning directors are doing episodes on this. Of course, you got showrunner John Watts in there, but you also got Bryce Dallas Howard, who has directed some of the best Star Wars episodes of Star Wars television that we've ever seen. We got Lee Isaac, the director of the recently smash hit Twisters. You got David Lowery, director of The Green Knight. And then you have Jake Schreier, the director of Thunderbolts. So you're looking at this, and I'm like, this is a great cast of directors. What the most interesting one for me is the Daniels. I'm hoping, I have a feeling their episodes are going to be great. Bryce Dallas Howard, I'm like, okay, Bryce Dallas Howard's doing an episode. Okay, that's going to be another great one because Bryce Dallas Howard has done some pretty great episodes in Star Wars. But the one that's interesting most is Jake Schreier, Thunderbolts, because I haven't seen a lot of Jake Schreier's work. I know he did that movie Paper Towns. It was with, I think, Alex Wolff and Cara Delevingne. Which that movie was good, okay, but I've never really seen him gone into action. Thunderbolts I thought was going to be our first tease, but it looks like it's actually going to be the Skelton Crew to give us our first tease of what this guy can really do as a director. Of course, you got Lee Isaac Chung, who just came off Twisters, which I'm excited to see what he's going to do with that episode. But I think it's a really great year. A lot of great directors on the show, and the question is, you can have good directors, but does the story hold up? I hope, this just isn't like a, Stranger Things ripoff or Goonies ripoff. I kind of want them to do their own thing, It is interesting how the story is, these kids get lost in space. Not trying to reference the old movie and recently Netflix show, Lost in Space. And I'm excited to see Jude Law. Jude Law, I'm a big fan of Jude Law. I think he's a very underutilized actor, and I think the more I see him in things, the better he is. Even in Captain Marvel, he was great as Yad Ra, the villain. I really love that character as a villain in that film. I've been hoping we might see him again. And he's done so. Even his eldest Dumbledore, he was great in that role. But I'm excited to see, him playing a Jedi. How's that going to add to the story? Or is he even playing a Jedi? He could be playing something else. He could be disguising as a Jedi. Who knows what's going to happen, guys? But leave your comments down below if you're excited for Skelton Crew and if this lineup of directors interests you as well. And let's move on to our second topic here today. For a little while now, we've been hearing rumors that Elizabeth Olsen's Wanda Maximoff might be getting a film. And we're like, okay, we're going to go get a Scarlett Witch film. Okay, that makes sense. We got Agatha all along going on right now. And with all that going on in that show, it kind of makes sense, that it's going to be going towards, a Wanda movie. Because you finish Agatha, where do you pick up? You gotta do a Wanda movie, or in my opinion, I would love to see a Children's Crusade movie. Maybe the Scarlet Witch movie is a Children's Crusade movie. Well, according to a new rumor, an old friend's gonna pop up in this film. According to thecomicmovie.com, rumor Elizabeth Olsen's Wanda will face an old friend in the Scarlet Witch movie. Now, you might be thinking like, okay, who's this old friend? You gotta be like, okay, there's really only one person you can really think of that Wanda is going to fight. And of course, that's Agatha Harkness. Yes, Agatha Harkness is reportedly going to appear in this film, which makes sense, like I said before, you look at Marvel's projects coming up, where does, these characters fit in? I don't really think these characters fit into a Doctor Strange movie. You got to do something with Scarlet Witch. You got to do a movie. You got to do, a Children's Crusade comic, I still think that this Scarlet Witch movie is a Children's Crusade. Now, I've talked about Children's Crusade so much over these last few months. I really love that comic book. It's a great Young Avengers book, a great X-Men story, and a great Avengers movie, and a great Doom story as well. But really, it's a Wanda Maximoff story, And where they left things off in the MCU, I think, it's a perfect way to bring back the character, Like I said before, if you haven't watched the video before, the Children's Crusade is basically the story told about the Maximoff twins and how the Avengers and the entire world is afraid that Billy Maximoff is going to turn into the next Scarlet Witch. So they kind of lock him down. But then the Young Avengers, comprised of characters like Kate Bishop, Hulking, Speed, aka Weaken's brother. There's Iron Lad, Cassie Lang, Eli Bradley as I think the Patriot. That's what he calls himself in there. And they all they kind of a little fight with the Avengers, and then they meet Magneto, and they go into the roots of the Scarlet Witch, how she was born, how, Magneto couldn't be around them because he was a terrorist, he was someone, who would just put his family's lives in danger. And he talks about all the events leading up to what happened. And we come to learn that all this time that Wanda's been missing, she has been off in a little European village in a country called Latveria, where she is married. She is about to marry Dr. Doom. Victor Von Doom, yes. And, you also have some other appearances. You got Pietro Maximoff showing up. You have Simon Williams, Wonder Man. Wonder Man has a very also deep relationship with Wanda Maximoff. And it's a really great comic book series. It has a really satisfying end to Wanda finally reuniting with her boys, and it's such a sweet moment. But you also got some Avengers vs. X-Men there as well. There's a lot in that comic, but if they just focus on maybe the Wanda part and her kids, and maybe you have Magneto in there, maybe you put Simon Williams, Wonder Man in there, I think it could be a really cool film. But this also could just be a Scarlet Witch solo movie, about what happened afterwards. Or maybe it's a movie about them trying to find Wanda, about Agatha and Billy, okay, we found my brother, we found Tommy. Why don't we go find Wanda now? Let's go find our mom. And of course, we also got Vision Quest coming, that could also relate to this film as well. But what do you guys think? What do you think about this new Scarlet Witch film? How do you feel about Agatha Harkness possibly coming back as maybe a friend or villain in that film? And what type of film do you think this is going to be? Do you think it's going to be just a Wanda Maximoff solo story? Or do you think it's going to be based on the comic called The Children's Crusade? Leave comments down below, and let's move on to our third topic here today. And let's shift our way away from Marvel and Disney and talk about some DC. We got that Creature Commandos trailer over the weekend, which I really, really love. But James Gunn's got a smattering of other projects in the works as well. And he was at Comic Con this weekend promoting Creature Commandos, and of course, people are asking questions about the other projects. And this is what James Gunn had to say. According to comicbookmovie.com, James Gunn talks Superman trailer, release, and shares Supergirl lanterns and DCU continuity updates. Now, this is just him, he didn't reveal, anything mind-blowing. He just said that, okay, David Cornstalk is going to blow people away. Of course, he's going to promote the actor that's in his movie, saying, oh, he's great. And, they said, okay, yeah, then we got Supergirl. He goes into Supergirl saying, they start shooting in January, so confirmed Supergirl is now shooting in January. They just saw screen tests with Millie, and they're very, very excited for it. I'm excited for that movie as well. I think it's gonna be really, really interesting. And then he talked a bit about lanterns. He said, that he nearly cast Aaron Pierre as Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And he says him and Kyle Chandler have really great chemistry, and he's really excited to see what they're going to bring to the screen. And, this is what he has to say about the continuity. Every project of DC Studios will be its own thing. Everything is going tremendously well, he promised. Superman, Supergirl, Lanterns, they're all part of this cinematic universe. But every one of those things will be different aesthetically. We learn that other things that have happened in the past in other media have still happened. There are references to things that happened in the past, and those references might become canon in the DCU because we mentioned them. So we already knew this takes place in a superhero world. And he's saying that doesn't mean we can't dive more into the past of these characters, dive into the past of Hal Jordan, dive into the past of the Justice League, Justice Society, all these other DC things he's trying to set up in his universe. And I love the statement he says here. Every project of DC Studios will be its own thing. Now that's different from Marvel. Marvel loves to connect their movies. But they're saying here that, we want directors to have their own ideas. We don't want to strain them by the ideas of our universe. If you want to, look at Craig Gillespie's, if you want to have ideas for your DC movie and, not include some of the stuff I put in Superman, that's fine, But, maybe Jason will be like, okay, well, can we put, maybe Superman in here, just to, show people that these are connected? And he's like, okay, I can throw that into my script, Not really huge things that makes a director totally shift their vision, but makes the director, put maybe a little tiny thing in there from James Gunn, and then that will be it. I think this next Superman is going to be the biggest project. Superman. I think it's going to be the biggest project for the studio because it's going to set the pace for the universe. It's going to show us what is this DC? What is this about? We kind of got a little bit. We're going to get a little bit of that in Creature Commandos. But to tell you guys the truth, I think Superman is the most important movie. Superman is going to set the tone for this new universe. And if it's not good, it doesn't, my opinion, it doesn't have to be great. It just has to be good. It has to have a rewatchability. And, I think if it fails at the box office, the universe will already be dead. Because Superman is probably your biggest movie coming out of all these titles. Supergirl, Lanterns, people know Supergirl, but she's a pseudonym for Superman. Lanterns, people only remember the really bad Ryan Reynolds movie. And most of the other projects, people don't give two hats about, except for the Batman Brave and the Bold movie, which there's been no really headway in that movie for about a year now. So Superman is going to set the tone. It's going to get people really excited about the universe. I'm excited for the movie. And about the trailer, a lot of people are like, oh, the trailer's going to come in December. I'm like, do not, James Gunn, I don't know if you watch this, but please, James Gunn, do not drop this trailer in December. Wait to the Super Bowl. If they drop this first trailer in Super Bowl, it's the perfect time. It's not too far, and it's not too close to the release date. That's the perfect time to drop it, and it's going to get the most attention because people are going to be watching the Super Bowl. Every year, millions of people tune into the Super Bowl. You're going to get a big pop if you drop a little teaser during the Super Bowl. I think that's the plan. I hope that's the plan. But guys, what do you think about this update from James Gunn? Are you still excited for the DCU? There are parts where I am less excited about the DCU, but also parts where I get really, really excited. Leave your comments down below. Let's move on to our final topic here today. And that is this. We are going to be doing our box office update right now. There's really no story to talk about, but our box office update. And we're going to discuss this week's top box office films. And, this was very much a light weekend. The top 10, was very light. No really like big releases. If you want to count Smile 2 in there, I did not go see Smile 2 because I'm not really into those movies. I don't really like those movies. I like horror, but there's a certain type of horror that I like. And Smile 2 is definitely like not one of those. But, we got our top 10 box office, and there's some pretty interesting things. So we'll talk about Smile 2. Smile 2 grossed $23 million domestically. And I'd say that's pretty good for them. I think, so if we want to see if that's good, we're going to go check out the first Smile. See what that did in its first weekend. The first Smile did a $22 million opening. So we made a little bit more money, but not a whole lot. And that first Smile only went on to make $270 million worldwide. So it wasn't the biggest hit, but I knew a lot of people loved the film. I heard a lot of people love Smile 2. A lot of people love it. They say Naomi Scott ruled in it. And I could see possibly this movie having a little bit of legs. But, we got Venom coming out. We got Wicked. We got Gladiator 2. So I can see this kind of being, not really thrown in the mix and people kind of dropping the movie. And I don't see this one doing very well. Now let's go on to the rest of the box office. There's some pretty interesting good box office here. And that is The Wild Robot. Guys, The Wild Robot, even though it's on streaming, people are still going to go see it. The Wild Robot has almost cracked the $200 million mark. It has cracked the $100 million mark domestically, which is great for it. But, I get why they did a sequel to this movie. This movie is great. People are going to go see it. I think it was really weird how quickly they dropped this on streaming. Universal, I don't know why you did that. People are going to see a movie in the theaters. I don't know why they dropped it on streaming. It was very, very dumb idea. Now, let's compare this to Transformers 1. Because I love both movies. I love both of them. But Transformers 1 is just another story of a great movie that is suffering a terrible box office. I believe we're in the 4th or 5th weekend of Transformers 1, and it's only made about $119 million worldwide. Only 56 domestically and 62 internationally. Now, you might feel like, it cost $100 million mark, and it was only made for what? $70 million? Oh, that's great. It's not great because it doesn't show the studio that people want to go see this. If you look at these numbers, if you're in a studio, guys, you're going to see, okay, well, this Transformers movie only made $119, while the Michael Bay ones, they were making $1 billion. Even Transformers Rise of the Beast, that even made $400 million. So this movie did not do well, even though I say it's the best Transformers movie we've ever gotten. People did not go to see it. And this is a lot to do with the marketing campaign, where they kind of didn't really market the movie, right? Made it more of like a kid movie, but there's a lot of adult themes in this film that I think it's for kids and adults. It's a great film. It's a great film. It's not the best animated film of the year. I still think The Wild Robot is the best film of the year. And it's so sad that this movie has suffered. And now we go on to the last really movie that we're going to be talking about. And that is Joker 2. Joker 2 had another terrible weekend drop. Joker 2 has gone down to 6th place and had another 68% drop, only making $2 million in its third weekend. This movie is going to cross the $200 million mark. But most of its money right now is coming internationally. That's what it's looking like. This movie is a failure. We've already talked about this. This movie is a failure. It's not a good movie. It doesn't have a rewatchability factor. That was the difference with the first and second one. Joker 1, rewatchability factor. This one, not rewatchability factor. I think it's just another sad movie where, it's just another sad story about a superhero film that could have been great, but it wasn't. It wasn't great. It was just a bad movie, and the audience and the box office reflects that. The box office shows that people aren't giving two craps about this movie because it's bad. And it was a very slow burn this weekend for the box office, but we had some good stories in there, with Smile 2 and The Wild Robot, and some sad ones with Transformers 1 and Joker 2. But guys, that's it for Let's Talk About It. Leave your comments down below. Like the video, comment the video, subscribe to the channel, And please share any other topics you ever want me to talk about on this channel. And go check out all our other content, including this video, on the channel. And I'll see you next time, guys. Peace.